from Alogica. And I wanted to play Avalon. So, saan na natin yan? Hindi. For this evening, I wanted to talk about getting started in contributing to open source. Unfortunately, I think my laptop is dying a very public death. This is the third restart this evening, so we'll see what happens. So has anyone here contributed to open source? Woo! Okay, so there is no reason for this talk. You all know that. Okay. Yeah, talk over. So the reason I wanted to give this talk was last week, one of my pull requests got merged, Ray, in Gyoku, which is from the Savon team, and it got merged after more than a year. So I saw an issue. Oh, wow, come on, open source contribution, game. So I submitted the pull request June 2015, and then last week a notification popped up in my GitHub that, hey, your pull request got merged. Yes, open source contributor. So yeah, so I realized that I'd always wanted to contribute to open source. I read in several blogs that in the Ruby community, for a developer to be worth his salt, he or she should have their own gem or project, or at least contributed to open source. Now, at the time I read that, I had 0 contributions. So of course, reading that blog post triggered very heavily my imposter syndrome. Like, am I good enough? What am I doing here? I've been working as a Ruby dev for X years, and I have Y pull requests merged where Y equals 0. So yeah, so I'm just trying to fill in some dead air here because my laptop is not started. But fortunately, I think very quickly on my feet. So I can do it without the laptop. Yeah. See? Show him who's boss. I almost. Okay, I don't need you. No. So, okay, so let me just give you a quick summary of what the talk was going to be. I was going to show you some very beautifully written code that brought tears to the eyes of the maintainers of the projects I contributed to. Unfortunately, my laptop is not cooperating. So I wanted to show you 4 pull requests. The first one is the pull request I first mentioned, the one that took over a year to get merged. The second one is a pull request that got merged, but the maintainer was a bit dubious about it. The third one is a pull request that got merged where the maintainer was very happy and enthusiastic. And the fourth one got rejected. So for each of those pull requests, I did learn something. So for the first one, let's discuss the one where the pull request was, maintainer was dubious about it. The project was Savon. Who here uses Savon? No? Who uses XML? Lucky you. Okay, so Savon is a wrapper for XML, makes our lives easier. So I wrote a pull request that allowed the programmer to get the raw request, the XML body, without actually going over the internet and consuming bandwidth. And so that got merged, and I was happy to see that it got merged. But when I read the changelog, my ego, which was sky high, suddenly got deflated because what the maintainer wrote was, merge this feature, blah blah blah, useful for debugging, comma, possibly. So he wasn't that enthusiastic about it. So that's fine. Contributing to open source is not about ego. Secretly it is, but in public it's not. So it's fine. The next one is the pull request that got merged and where the maintainer was. Oh sure. No, it's fine. I'm almost done, and my pride has been wounded, so I'm not gonna show the code. Stupid laptop. Okay, so the second one, it got merged, and the maintainer was very happy about it. So there was an issue, an open issue which I worked on. This was the one that took over a year to get merged. And when I saw the notification in the issue, my pull request was merged from the command line, so it didn't show as merged. But in the issue where I fixed it, the maintainer said, this issue is fixed by commit blah by the wonderful JP Moral. So that's a big boost to my ego. And here's the best part. Same maintainer. Yeah, so I showed him. Are we posting this on the internet? No, sorry, it's fine. Please merge my pull requests. So the third one is a different pull request. It's for light service. Anyone here use light service? Yeah, so as you can tell, I really like contributing to these really obscure projects. So it got merged into light service. I was gonna show you all the long discussion the maintainer and I had over the pull request. And what I learned from that was, you know, you get an idea, you talk to the maintainer. Sometimes they request changes, they have questions, you go back and forth over it, you change your code, it's fine. It's fine if your idea as initially conceptualized changes. And yeah, it got merged and he was very grateful for the help. Okay, so, and then the last pull request I wanted to talk to you about was something that got rejected. I found a bug where, well, I think it's a bug, he disagreed. I found a bug where inheritance didn't work as I thought it should, and so I coded up a pull request to fix it. But then it got rejected because the maintainer said, well, I really didn't want to support inheritance for this module because blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, okay, that's fine. I found a different workaround anyway to do what I needed. And so that got rejected. And like the first example, same light service maintainer, so that got rejected. So what did I learn from this? And hopefully you will too, but maybe not so some of you because I see there are a lot of open source contributors here, which is great. Okay, so number one, if you're new to open source and have 0 contributions, start with a project that you know. It's easier to find something to contribute to. I don't think I'm a very creative person. I don't, the advice scratch your own itch does not apply to me because I don't itch. So I find other people's itches to scratch. And yeah, and then they turn into contributions. The other thing is, yeah, like I mentioned, open source, not about ego. We're all here to contribute and to leech off of the, did I say leech? To take other people's contributions and use them in our own projects. And the third is, rejection is okay. Not really, I cried for a day. Rejection is okay, move on to the next feature, that's fine. And if you want to minimize the rejection, talk to the maintainer first before writing any code. Because the one that got rejected, he categorically stated that it was working as he had designed it. Inheritance was not something that he wanted to encourage for that particular module. So yeah, so questions? All this stuff is on jpmoral.com, which is updated once in 2 years. No, I recently put a post on there. I'm trying to get started again blogging, so yeah, you can read my stuff there and bore yourself to sleep. Okay, questions? Were you listening? Were you listening?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Thank you.